Right, many thanks for inviting me and SDS along to present today. I'm Alison Hunter, I'm part of the Climate Emergency and High Value Manufacturing team. Chris Brodie, the Director of Skills Planning and Sector Development, is also on the call to assist with any questions that come in after my presentation today. So what I'm going to do is providing an overview of the Climate Emergency Skills Action Plan, or the CESAP, which I'll refer to it much more succinctly going forwards, and then focusing in on one of the cornerstones that's come out of the CESAP, which is the Green Jobs Workforce Academy, and give progress updates on where we are with some of the CESAP actions. So in terms of the development of the CESAP, it came out of the Programme for Government, a commitment for the Programme for Government to publish this Climate Emergency Skills Action Plan, providing a framework of the skills investment needed to meet the climate change challenge and successfully support Scotland's transition to a low carbon, in a just and inclusive manner. So this as well was on the back of Scotland in April of 2019 declaring a climate emergency. So all of that was sort of rolled into one, and it was identified that we needed this skills action plan to look at this massive topic of the climate emergency needing to be addressed. I think there's three sort of elements that we can look at that were crucial in developing this plan. It was led by SDS, but obviously involved many stakeholders. The climate emergency and skills required, it's not just SDS that has to deliver on that, it's supported by so many other organisations. And one thing that was unique about the development of the CESAP, it was a pretty unique approach to skills planning because it has this multi-sectoral approach. It's not just looking at one specific sector, it crosses so many sectors. So to undertake this, there was the establishment of an expert group covering organisations from the skills side of things, so SE, HI, SDS, and then also organisations who are more climate focused, for example, Nature Scot involved in that. And there was a very comprehensive stakeholder engagement plan, and it really required endorsement from all these organisations involved in the planning. If you don't have everyone on board with the plan as you're developing it, it's, you're not going to really achieve success. So it was both working with all these stakeholders and getting endorsement from them as it was being developed. I should have said actually, when I was just introing it there, initially it was planned to be developed over several months, but it was brought forward due to COVID, and it ended up having to be delivered in, I think it was only about 8 weeks. So it was a big piece of work, input from a lot of people put in a lot of hard work to get it published in December of 2020, and that happened alongside the updated climate change plan, and the government's updated climate change plan was published to align with that. Secondly is that it drew on existing evidence base, setting out the nature and the scale of the long-term skills challenges that are presented by this move to net zero, and importantly in the context of a just transition. Thirdly is that it was focusing in on these key sectors, and these are the sectors which both are those which contribute quite significantly to climate change, but are also the sectors where there are massive opportunities to address the climate emergency. So if we take agriculture and land use, I mean, everyone on this in this meeting at this event obviously knows this, but agriculture is one of the big emitters, but then you've also got things like peatland restoration, afforestation, or where huge opportunities lie. So that's where these key sectors really come into play, and why the CESAP is focusing on these sectors. And importantly as well, we need to remember that it's not just sectoral skills that are key to the CESAP, it's meta skills or digital and data skills. Those underlie so much of what's within these sectors that will be required to address the climate emergency. So within the CESAP, there are 6 broad themes that it's based around, with a lot of actions that sit within each theme. So I'll just give a bit of a sort of overview of what that looks like. The first theme, obviously, for due to when the CESAP was developed, was really around supporting this green recovery for the labour market from COVID-19, really looking at how can we use this change in the economy to almost drive that change towards being greener, kind of using it as a catalyst. We're having to, bounce back, as it were. How do we make sure that that is actually green? So that's a key part of the CESAP. Also crucial to it is about building that better understanding of the evidence around the future skills needs that are required to support this transition to net zero. That's absolutely crucial to really understand as much as we possibly can what are the actual skills needs for that future of net zero. It's the evidence side of it is absolutely crucial to understand where we need to go. Developing around the future workforce for the transition to net zero, it's all about those people who will be coming into the workforce in the coming years. Where are they at the beginning of their both their learning and their early careers? How are we making sure that we're developing those people and guiding them to the right place so that Scotland can actually transition to net zero? Big part of it as well is around awareness and action to support reskilling and upskilling for that transition. For example, if we look at the energy, so thinking about oil and gas transitioning to renewables, you've got a lot of people who are in those industries who have certain skills that can be transferred, or you've got people in industries where they just need some reskilling or upskilling to be able to really contribute to those roles that are required for transition to net zero. And really key is that it's a just transition, and that there's fairness and inclusion in the skills system is a kind of bedrock to everything that's happening from the CESAP. And very much that it's a collaborative approach, and it's requiring all those different stakeholders and those who are delivering the actions in the CESAP on board to ensure that the whole system can respond to the changing demands that are required for that transition to net zero. So those are the sort of 6 key themes that are within the CESAP that have all the different actions underlying them. What we then had to do, though, after the plan itself was actually published, was taking those themes and looking at, right, what are the key priorities that we need to implement, and that was guided by those themes. So I'm going to give a bit of an overview of what those priorities are, a few examples of what did in the past year and a bit that the plan has been in place. So the first priority is around inspiring and empowering young people to engage with this transition. As I sort of mentioned, those are people so key, the ones who will be transitioning into the workforce in the coming years. So some examples of what's been happening is DYW's Climate Path, which is working with school age pupils. My World of Work has a green focused careers page on it. There's a climate topic within the Eco Schools Scotland programme. Around priority 2, so this is on supporting that transitioning and upskilling to meet the emerging green job skills needed, and that's through the Green Jobs Workforce Academy by and large, which I'll come on to in a little bit more detail. Phase 1 of that was launched in August of 2021. A lot of development is now underway to progress. Big chunk of that is around a lot of research going on to do with really the classification of the green skills and green jobs, because that's something that's still in development. It's not just a one and done, essentially, it's ongoing. Third priority is around the talent pipeline for the future of net zero jobs, and that's ensuring that you're aligning work-based learning and further education and higher education behind the needs of the net zero transition, and that we're capturing all those parts of the skill system and not just relying on one certain stream, as it were. So examples that are happening around this is the Fuel Change Apprenticeship Challenge. We've got ESP's college centres, there was a paper by the Scottish Apprenticeship Advisory Board published just at the end of last year on sustainability in apprenticeships, and it has a wide variety of recommendations within it that are now being discussed on how can we implement that going forwards to really bring in net zero transition and sustainability into our apprenticeship frameworks. You know, there are certain apprenticeships, the ones which are already in, you know, renewables or something. So there's obviously an element of green or sustainability within those, but the idea is how can we broaden that and bring this into all apprenticeships, because it is across all sectors, across all jobs. So it's looking at how we can embed that in. So we'll be building on that paper that was published just at the end of last year. And then another example is Dumfries and Galloway College Skills Academy. Priority 4 is around helping employers and individuals to capitalise on the net zero transition opportunities and facilitating behaviour change. So behaviour change is another thing that's sort of underlying everything that's within the CESAP. You've got things like net zero toolkits have been created, climate emergency training, Keep Scotland Beautiful developed that. Scottish Enterprise have a Green Jobs Fund to support SMEs and organisations in those pivotal sectors. And in SDS, there's a labour market information hub available for our careers advisors to be able to support young people and give them advice on opportunities that are available as Scotland transitions to net zero. So it's making sure that those who are engaging with young people have a base level of knowledge to be able to support them. And the 5th priority is just the very high level, driving that change in the skills system. And that's kind of pulling all of the above to an extent and continuing to develop and maintain that extended network of skills groups in those critical sectors, and investment coming from National Transition Training Fund. There have been a few new programs that have just launched out of that around climate literacy. So it's bringing all these other priorities in and actually making a change in that wider skills system. So finally, want to bring in, like I mentioned earlier, the Green Jobs Workforce Academy. So this was one of the cornerstones of the CESAP. It was one of the main themes within the CESAP and then was pulled out as a real priority to focus on as well. So the Green Jobs Workforce Academy is an online platform that's there to really help individuals take a greener approach to their careers. It's a one-stop shop that's offering information around the opportunities that are available in terms of what jobs are available that have a green element, how individuals can, you know, up their skills to get into that. So volunteering is a huge thing for a lot of these jobs. Apprenticeships, there are links to the apprenticeships that link in with within each of these industries. It's built around an industry page for these 5 key industries that will pull from the CESAP. It gives links to training potential, any funding sources are out there. It's an online catalogue really currently of careers and training opportunities. But that really is very much phase 1 currently. It had to be delivered as part of the 100-day commitment last year from the SNP. So it's kind of similar to the CESAP, but really had to be delivered very much at pace, a short period of time to deliver, which is why we're calling it kind of phase 1. It was the minimum product that we could put together that was still a worthwhile product to start with, but it's very much the beginning and there's a lot more to come. So some examples of what the next steps are is really ongoing expansion of the content that are on all these industry pages and the links that are available. We've just recently have been developing the agriculture and land use page specifically to enhance the content that was on there, improve its accuracy, give a lot more links to existing courses and volunteering opportunities, and make sure the examples we're giving are the best ones possible. So it was being updated last week. I'm not sure if it's gone live yet, the updated version. If not, it'll be going live this week. Our content team, we're working on improving that page, so it should be going live very soon if it hasn't yet. There's the development of green skills assessment tool, linking in with, there's a skills assessment tool on the My World of Work. big part of this piece is that research that I mentioned earlier around what is a green skill. That's ongoing research pulling from loads of different databases which are trying to identify this, pull all of that together and really come to a decision on how do we classify this. So that's a piece of work that's ongoing there. Another focus will be looking at the access to targeted funding, and also the addition of further industries. And one that's currently being looked at just now is life and chemical sciences. So it isn't in the CESAP as a key sector, but it really is a sort of up and coming in terms of the role it can play in addressing the climate emergency. So that's an industry page that's currently being worked on and would be the next one, I think, to be uploaded as part of the Green Jobs Workforce Academy. But down the road, because the climate emergency is really crosses, at the end of the day, every sector, that's something that will be looked at going forwards. But it was key that we did pull on these key sectors initially to promote on the Green Jobs Workforce Academy.